Wonderland, but I'm actually working on getting the YouTube going now. I think I've got it. It says stop broadcast, but only thing I'm seeing is a. So everybody, take a second to go to your social media pages, whether it be Facebook or whatever it is you like to do. Twitter. I don't use Twitter a lot, so
I don't either.
yeah, I really
No.
don't. But if you don't mind, let everybody know that Ladies Talk is live, and tonight we're going to be talking about ways to deal with stress, and also we're going to be speaking on all you moms out there, and we can all relate to this, how to have a life while being a mom, because that's a very it's very tough to balance that, no doubt. I think I might have this figured out. There you go, Crystal. Look there. But hope everybody's had a great week. We have had okay, Scotty's upstairs doing his thing. I see everything moving now. So thank you, sir. May I have another? But I'm super excited about tonight's show. It's been a pretty long but uneventful week. I was sick Friday thanks to the pollen. I really think I had a little bit of virus though. I really, really do, because I had some fever and some other symptoms going on. And I was telling Scotty today, I remember, I mean, there was a time the pollen did not bother me. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's like I was one of those people, and I know a few of them that would say it doesn't even affect me. Like they love spring because it doesn't even affect them. And spring has always been one of my favorite seasons, but now I'm starting to second guess that because, good Lord, I mean, it just messes with you. I feel like it's not really a headache. It's just like pressure that you got right there. And I haven't taken the time to Google it and see. I don't know if there's really anything you can do for pollen except for, of course, you take your Claritin and all that good stuff. But ironically enough, the one that seemed to work the best for me was the Kroger brand. So
Actually, Kroger brand of most medicines work better for me.
yeah.
And also the fact that, like with the Dayquil and NyQuil and stuff, Kroger brand is actually gluten free.
Oh wow, I had no idea.
And it actually advertises that like on the bottle and the shelf. And so I always had problems, taking the actual name brands. And then I think now that I've started with the Kroger now, realizing it's actually the gluten in it.
Well, that's very interesting because I've found that I've taken Dayquil. Like I said, I've taken the Claritin and the Sudafed and stuff like that. But honestly, the Kroger brand works, and
Yes.
it's so much cheaper. I mean, I think it was like almost $10. I don't know exactly, but for the Claritin, and I just forgot to grab any on my way out the door. So when I got to work, I was like, dang it. And I didn't want to spend another $10. So I just bought the Kroger brand. And that's the last time I can remember even taking any allergy medicine. And that was like 2 days ago. Although I'm complaining about the pressure. Man.
Right.
But it's not as bad as it was. So
I might have to try me some of that.
You'll have to try that. So shout out to Kroger Medications. Not
Yes.
just because I work there, but and you guys, everybody, you ladies, I'm sorry. You guys, it's just a terminology I use. Please don't take it personal. But everybody, if you would like to communicate and take part in the show tonight, please do. You can message us, either one of us personally, if you have our phone numbers, we don't mind. Or I'm going to pull up our Facebook page, and you can message us through Ladies Talk as well. And we'll talk about whatever it is, and share your ideas and your stories as well. But you can also call in to 678-760-1556 is the call-in number. And we love to have people interact through the phone. So feel free to do that if anything comes up. But
and we have the Google Hangouts.
I know. How come nobody wants to hang out with us?
Well, I'm kind of depressed now that I know that I can't do it on my iPhone.
I did not know that. I thought that you could.
Because I was actually really looking forward to using that.
Oh, I know. When you go on vacation to the beach without me.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm glad you get to go. Last year, you went to Hawaii without me, so I guess if I survived that.
That was actually year before last.
No way.
Yes, it's been that long. It's almost been 2 years since I went to Hawaii.
Why does time fly by so much faster now? I just don't understand.
I don't know.
Gosh, when I was a kid, it took forever to turn 18. so I could move out. Well, I moved out a lot earlier than that, but you're like, when I'm 18, I'm going to be grown and I'm going to own my own life. And well, it doesn't quite work out like that. So,
Oh yeah, it just goes by
And
too
then-
quickly now.
yeah. And then it was like 21, from 18 to 21 seemed to take forever. And now I'm not going to say how old I am. Most people already know anyway. You know me.
You're fabulous, and that's all that matters.
Yep. 40 and fabulous. Ha. Don't add a year to that neither.
I will not. I will not.
Well, it's all good though, because I feel like I'm a much better person now than I ever was way back then, because I just didn't know all the great things I know now. So, but it makes sense now as to why people say, I wish I knew back then what I know now, because gosh, I probably could have took over the world. I'm just saying.
Still can.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes.
I still have time?
Yes, you can. Yes, you do.
I feel like Pinky and the Brain now. You know that cartoon?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oh, thank gosh, because I know you're younger than me, and I was just waiting on you to say.
Okay, I'm not that young. I know
Wow.
who Pinky and the Brain is.
Like the other day, I was at work and I made the comment to somebody that Driving and Crying was going to be in Covington, and Just for Fun Radio is going to kind of be there and be a part of it, sort of. And they were like, "Who's Driving and Crying?" I was like, "Huh?" I know they don't have. I don't know that they were a one-hit wonder, but
Right.
they were not Justin Timberlake. But at the same time,
Exactly.
everybody should know who Driving and Crying is. You know that song? I'm going straight to that one. Well, anyway, she didn't know who it was, and I was like, "Well, you need to go Google it because they're going to be in Covington." Just saying.
Yeah.
And Scotty and I rode by there on the bike, and they're actually having it at the old. It's now, I think it's called the VFW or the American Legion Field, but they have always had the fair there in Atlanta.
Oh,
Right
I
there
know.
off of Mill Street.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about.
I said in Atlanta.
I'm in Covington. Yes, because I used to go to the fair there.
Well,
so,
now they've got a really nice stage there that they put up, and the big long building where 4-H used to set up and do all their exhibits and stuff.
Mhm.
It looks as if they've remodeled that, and I remember Beth used to go to soccer practice there, and it was just a big field,
Right.
But it's a pretty cool setup now. So
That's awesome.
I'm sure they'll be doing a lot of things. And you know what's going on with your mic? I'm going to sound like Scotty for a minute because I hate it whenever they talk about technical stuff that's going on.
I do not.
He has this thing on the microphones now that's called a gate.
Yes, I
And
see
like
that.
if you don't stay close enough to it, and like if you're back here, it cuts you off. And it's in order to block off, block out outside noise. So that's why it sounds like your voice is kind of coming in and out. Because
No, right now, right then,
There
I
you
did
go.
not move.
actually you got to stay like this.
No, but I did not
Keep
move.
your mouth on
And
it.
at one point it worked, and one point it didn't.
Keep your mouth on it.
I don't want to have my mouth on it because I'm not so sure whose mouth's been on here.
Stephanie. Wow. Well, anyway.
Yes. Anyways, yeah, I had not really an eventful week, I guess, either. Just busy being a mom. That's
Hey, that's I simply said, but there's a lot that goes into that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I know
Yes.
you were at the emergency room with one, and
I was.
the other one had to go to the doctor, and
Always something.
yes, it is always something. And play practice and
Yes.
gymnastics or tumbling and everything else you got going on.
I know.
Well, I made Zaylee a doctor's appointment to have her little eye looked at. And can you believe that they cannot see her until July?
I actually talked to the lady today while
Yeah.
I was there and told her that they were out till July, and she gave me a new number to a new doctor and said we need to try them. Said the other day she got somebody in the same day.
Are you kidding?
So
Well, see,
I
I
have
was-
the number.
Well, we'll have to share that
Yes.
information because I was under the impression because Zaylee is so little, maybe, that's why. Because she had made the comment that I need to call them right away because there might be a wait because, they're just one of the only ones around. So gonna have to check into that.
And I already, squashed that theory when I told you they had given me 3 numbers.
I know. Yeah, but Trinity's a lot older than Zaylee.
Yeah, but that's the point is we're going to a pediatric one
Oh, okay.
because the adult ones just don't care as much.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why we're switching her to pediatric.
I was saying, I mean, I was thinking that Lord, he's specialist. I mean, I get it. I guess that's why they're called specialists, but what is that, 3 months from now?
Yeah,
crazy.
that's saying backed up, is an
I
understatement
know,
if
right?
it's all the way in July.
Backed up.
And that's why I have a hard time sometimes with the schools and the teachers, because it's like, oh, well, they're having a test that day. And I'm like, you don't understand. They only go to specialists. And I was like, you have to, she's had this appointment for 6 months. I didn't know she was going to have a math test that day. I mean,
Yeah, right.
and so you just have to, work with it and be like, there's no change in that. I can't put her out, a few more months.
Right. She's just have to be able to retake that test. And hopefully if you can bring in a doctor's excuse, they would.
Yeah, they do.
But I was surprised today whenever you told me, like, and I'm not downsizing the sickness or whatever was going on with Trinity, but whenever you said, like, if they're just out because, let's just say, I feel like my child may be contagious. Not contagious enough, like, to where I need to take her. I mean, she's not sick enough to where I really need to take her to the doctor and get her antibiotics or anything. But you have to take her to the doctor to get a doctor's excuse just for them to excuse her. Like, when I was growing up, my mom used to write a note. Heck, I'd write my own note.
Well, here's the thing is, Newton County, the last time my children were in school in Newton County, that's the way they are. The way that Newton County is you have a certain amount of absences the kid can have.
Right.
Part of those, like, there's, doctor's excused absences, then there's parent excused absences. Well, in Newton County, doctor excused absences do not count towards your total of absences because they're doctor excused. Rockdale County does not do that. All of them count. And so you're only given, say, 10 absences in a school year. Well, once you reach that 10, regardless the fact that all 10 of them were doctor excused, then from that point on, you are required to have a doctor's note every time your child's absent. I can, if she just has a really bad headache, I can't just keep her home and write a note saying she was at home in bed with a headache. I have to take her. They told me I had to take her to the doctor, or I can bring her in and the school nurse can be her excuse and send her back home.
Oh, wow. So let's take her in. And if she is contagious, we'll just go ahead and contaminate everyone sitting there just so you can tell me. And, because there's some people out there that don't have insurance. But then again, you hear, I mean, I'm sure some people say, well, dang, 10 days is a lot. But with Trinity's situation, and there's a lot of other kids out there like this, she's had her surgeries. She's had a lot of other things that she's had to deal with health-wise. Right. So, I mean, 10 days really is nothing for a kid or anybody, heck, in her situation. So, but anyway, I'm not trying to bore everybody. That really surprised me whenever you said you had to take her to the doctor for that. So I was like, dang, what about those who don't have insurance, sir?
Well, another thing is that I would like to see really is, in Rockdale County, I'm not sure what it is in other counties, but in Rockdale County, in order for you to be able to do work like outside of school, like at home, you have to already know ahead of time, you have to be out 10 days minimum. So it's like, if you know that your child's having something small done and they're going to be, out for a week, you can't, get their work and let them, be at home doing work there. They'll have to just make it up once they come back to school.
Wow, that right there is just crazy. I mean, I remember whenever I was a kid, and if you had to be out, shoot, your friends or whatever could bring the work home for you. Like, they swing by your teacher's class and they send you home a packet or a list of whatever needs to be done. I mean, why are they complicating things? I mean,
I really don't know.
I guess because they can. So,
right.
Anyway, who am I to question it? But you know what? That brings up the topic of stress.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because that kind of stuff right there will stress a mama out. It's like, okay, so I'm already home dealing with a 6 kid, and now the school wants to complicate things, and, and then the doctors don't want to can't see her for another week, and, so on and so forth. I mean, you have one thing right after another, it seems, on every day. That just kinda hits you in the face, and it can all be overwhelming and stressful.
Oh, absolutely.
I
I
mean,
mean,
a
yeah.
lot of us work. I mean, here you are, you're a single mom. You've got a teenager and a little one who thinks she's a teenager. Well, she's a great
She's a
kid.
preteen,
Yeah,
so yeah,
she's a
she's close
preteen.
enough.
Yeah, she is close. But all young girls, I don't know, they think they're teenagers these days. So,
Right.
but anyway, along with everything else in life, a house to upkeep, a family, and that kind of thing. So, yeah. And then myself, I work a full time job that feels like more than a full time job most of the time. And at work, I'm in a role to where I'm a leader, so to speak, or manager, or whatever however you want to put it. But I'm um, I'm dealing with a lot of ladies, and they all have lives, and sometimes their lives impact, what I do. So that brings stress, and the job itself has stress. And then, I've raised 3 kids, and God knows that came with some stress, and even as adults, still stressful. And then now I have Zaylee, and, the thing about us women is I think we carry things so much differently than a lot of people do or a lot of guys do.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not saying that men don't stress. So any guys listening, please don't take that wrong. I know guys have their own worries, but they deal with it differently than women do. I mean, I overthink things, I over worry, which really means that some of the stress, really probably a lot of the stress that we carry, I think we bring on ourselves without realizing it. Without realizing it, because let's just, worrying is like wasteful energy. We all know that. I mean, you can worry all day long, but it's not going to change the circumstances. So that right there, whenever you worry, you're stressing. And whenever you're overthinking things, um, sometimes we put too much thought into some things. Um, I mean, that can be a good trait, and it can also be a bad trait because at the same time, you're causing yourself stress. Um, and trust me, this is like I don't know. I mean, it's like the pot calling the kettle black because I am the world's worst about it. But it's like the past few weeks, or maybe even longer than that. I think with just being sick and a lot of other things that's going on in my life, I have definitely got caught up in my emotions at times, and stressed and overthought, and a lot of it I know I brought on myself. But and today, whenever I was kind of show prepping and just thinking about this show, those were some of the thoughts that I had, and I was like, when you think about it, a lot of the stress we have, I think we can probably alleviate if we would just think about things differently.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I know that one of the main stressors in my life is I am OCD. And I know that, part of it I can't help. But what mentally you go through, if I could just let go sometimes, of having to have everything exactly right.
Right.
Not wanting any help because it's easier for me to do it right by myself than have to have, somebody else do it their way and me not like it. And that's something I've actually, tried to work on. It's hard sometimes.
I feel you though, because, I've always, the saying, if you want something right, do it yourself. And it's not that other people aren't doing it right, really, but they're just
Right.
not doing it the way I would. And they may think the way that I do it's not right. But I guess that is a little OCD. I don't really know. I've never been diagnosed with it, but
Right.
I think sometimes I most definitely could say I'm OCD. But yeah, and I was reading, doing a little research, as I said, and they're saying that when it comes to stress, there are good stresses too,
Oh, yes. I
because
agree.
you can be motivated through stress. I mean, let's say like holidays and things like that. Birthday parties or whatever. Whenever you've got to get something done and people are going to come over, you may feel like you're stressing about it. But if you use that stress, or we naturally use that stress to motivate ourselves to get things done, we're gonna make it happen, because that's what women do. We make it happen. We figure out a way to be the Easter bunny, to get our house clean, to plan the menu, to get it cooked, to, we figure out a way to make it happen. But during that process, I'm sure if anybody was to ask, hey, are you okay? Actually, I'm stressed. But that's something else I was reading. Like, instead of interpreting what this feeling that you're having, this overwhelmed feeling, as stress, if you just say, you just have to be, I don't know, look at it a little bit more positively, instead of just feeling like it's a stress, instead of just saying, I mean, it is what it is. I've just got to get this done, and use it to motivate yourself. So, but they say stress causes all the things we hate.
I agree with that too.
It does. I mean, that we hate, or we dislike about ourselves,
right?
Because hate is a horrible word.
Yes.
We do not like weight gain. We do not like, they say it causes weight gain, loss of hair. It causes aging, and all that kind of awful stuff that all of us complain about. They say that's what stress causes. So, and sometimes I think they blame everything on stress. Like, if you go to a doctor, if you don't smoke or drink, so they don't have that to blame it on, so they blame it on stress. So, but everybody deals with stress a little bit differently. And what are some ways you deal with stress? Like, if you just feel like you have just had enough, what do you do? I'll call you.
Wow. I'm trying to think of, well, the main thing I do is cry. That's just the way I am. When I am stressed to the max, it's like my body just needs to release something.
Yeah.
And so the tears will come and I feel better.
And they say that, sometimes it's good just to cry it out.
Right.
It's very tough for me to cry. It's like, I can't really remember the last time I truly cried outside of a funeral or something like that.
I wish I was that way.
Yeah. No, sometimes, no, trust me. I wish, like, maybe even now, with all the emotions and everything that I just have, like, stewing inside of me. Scotty and I had a talk the other night, and I'm not trying to air our business, but we did have, a one-on-one talk, and things that don't normally trigger me have triggered me lately. And I was just been kind of out of my, I don't know what it is. It's just, I haven't been myself. I've had a lot on me, but it's not anything that I wouldn't want to be dealing with, if as crazy as that sounds.
Oh no, I understand.
I love my family with everything under the sun. They're my life, they're my reason. And I don't know. I couldn't imagine my mom going through her surgery and everything, and me not being a part of that. And then, of course, there's Zaylee, and and even my job. I appreciate my job, but it just seems like lately I don't know, I think I need to go to the beach.
I agree.
Put my toes in the sand, that kind of stuff. We don't take time and just get away from everything often enough, I think, and just take a break. But with that right there being said, we've kind of talked. I can't believe this 15 minutes has gone by so
really
fast. Already? I know, right?
Oh, we're getting more and more comfortable at this.
I know, because, yeah. Everybody, please hang tight. Go tell somebody to join us. Make plans to call in and to chat with us whenever we come back. 678-760-1556. We'd love to hear how you deal with stress. And coming up, we're going to be talking about how being a mom can somewhat take over your life, and how do you have a life and be a mom. We need all the suggestions we can get, because, we're still working on that too. So everybody stay tuned. You're listening to Ladies Talk on Just for Fun Radio. That right there doesn't show you. Scotty says it doesn't show you. Looking at YouTube through their phone, because it doesn't show you. That's just people who are sitting in front of a computer. But I did just share the link.
Anything.
Charger.
Oh.
What I was reading was like stress. It only becomes bad for you when you believe that it's bad for you. Like it's a mind over matter thing, you know.
Facebook Pages Manager? Or do you just
I did
Facebook
have
app?
that.
I used to have it a long time ago when I was, I forgot about it. Like this season on The Voice, it's not her season. Alternate,
Right.
to give them time to tour and stuff like that. And he actually Blake brought her back
Oh,
in.
really?
Yeah, so she's still on the show anyway.
That's interesting.
Was, and now it's gone back to being cold again.
Oh, and I've been, trying to figure out. I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take
What's that thing? Oh, Five Below. Right now, everything like that they come out with in that store. Like
Yeah,
those
that's
are the two.
perfect, though.
So it was like I was getting stuff for him, and then
I could hack Scotty's. What are the sources of stress in your life, Ashley?
I know.
We all know what that tune means. It means we're back. After that great word from all of our fine sponsors here at Just for Fun Radio. I think I might have played a couple of them twice, but I really didn't mean to. I got to figure out how to copy and paste them all over there, something like that. But we did get a little Gwen Stefani in there, and we were just talking about how odd her and Blake Shelton's relationship is. But anyway, that was small talk. And if you missed it, I kind of filled you in. But I'm not going to do that next time because you all should be taking a peek on YouTube. You know, you can see what all we're talking about in between during the break if you're watching the YouTube channel. So go to YouTube and watch and listen all the shows. But our topic that we were discussing was stress because everybody lives with it, everybody deals with it, and everybody deals with it differently. So I also shared a link on our Ladies Talk page and for you all to kind of go check out. I found it pretty informative, and it's just basically speaking of first thing you need to do is to figure out what it is that's causing you stress in your life. If you feel really stressed out, and once you've discovered what it is, then you can
Eliminate it?
You know how to deal with it, or you can eliminate it. How about that? And some things, we can eliminate. It's not that easy. But then what you got to do is ask yourself, okay, what can I do? As in regards to this situation, what do I have the power to do? And then you do that, and then after that, you got to let it go. You have to exhale it because there's no reason to stressing over it at that point because you've basically done everything within your power. So figure out what the source is, eliminate it, and do what you can. And see, I'm not good at trying to read and talk at the same time.
Yeah, that's I'm having problems with that too.
Basically, how do you currently cope with stress? I can tell you some of the things that you should not do to cope with stress. And I'm not saying that I don't do any of these, but I'm saying that the experts out there recommend that we do not cope with stress by smoking, drinking too much, binging on junk food or comfort food, zoning out for hours in front of the TV or the computer, withdrawing from your friends, family, or activities. You should not use pills or drugs to relax. Do not resort to sleeping too much because, sometimes I can say I'm guilty of that. Like, I just feel like I could just go to sleep and sleep forever, but I don't do it, but I feel like I could. Procrastinating, that's another one that I could work on. How there's just something, you need to get done and you just keep putting it off. And you keep putting it off. But once you finally do it, it feels so great. But, that right there does cause you a lot of stress. So procrastinating, filling up every minute of the day to avoid facing the problems, just go ahead and just deal with it.
Well, see, that one right there, though, that is my problem. That is my stress because I don't know what the word no is. So I do fill up with so much that I end up stressing myself out for it. So.
Yep. So, you said it. You said that right there is a problem for you. So now you just need to, learn how to deal with it. and stop always saying yes and stop doing things that are affecting you and causing you to stress or causing. I mean, you got to think about what's best for Ashley sometimes, and a lot of women do that. A lot of people do that, but more so women. We, I think it's just in our nature to try to save the world and just try to do everything for everybody that we can in our lives, the ones that we care about. But sometimes you do have to say no. All right. And it also says taking out your stress on others, such as lashing out or angry outbursts or physical violence. Now, um, when my kids were younger, I remember, you know, I they I guess I don't know, I guess because they were the weakest ones in my life at the time, I do remember being like a little bit more short with them when I would be stressed out. I'd be like, "You know what? You better go to your room." And you better, and I think about that now and I feel bad.
Unfortunately, I think we're all guilty of that. As a mom,
Yeah.
it's just, well, they just happen to be the one that was around when you got to your breaking
Yeah,
point.
you're just done. It's just been one of those days. Stop asking me, can you go there? Stop asking, can she spend the night? I've already told you no twice. And if you ask me one more time, you get to that point. And yeah, so it says those are the things that we should not do when trying to cope with stress. That's unhealthy ways to cope with stress. Thank God I never have been one for physical violence. So nobody read into that. I know I never abused my kids. They abused me. So I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. They didn't really abuse me. But healthier ways to manage stress is to get moving. We always hear physical activity, and it doesn't always mean going to the gym or anything like that. Whenever they say get moving, can help relieve stress and burn away your anger and your tension and your frustration. Exercise does release endorphins that boost your mood and they make you feel good, and it can only serve as a valuable distraction to your daily worries.
And
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go
No,
ahead.
my thing is how many times have we, and I say we, I'm not meaning just me and you, we as women in general, sit there and say, I'm too stressed out to work out. I'm too stressed out to, get up and move.
Yeah.
And you have to force yourself knowing that in the end you will feel better.
Yes, because I always feel better after I work out. And it like today I went to the gym and I haven't been in a couple of weeks because guess what? I've been too stressed out. My mind has been everywhere but the gym. And I've had, my schedule's been full, but it doesn't always mean going to the gym, There's some great ideas here on this website I was looking at. It's like put on some music and dance around. There's nothing better sometimes than just doing that right there. Just being goofy, just letting loose, just put on some really good feel good music and just dance around, get that metabolism going. And it says take your dog for a walk or walk or cycle to the grocery store. I'm not going to do that.
I was just
by the way.
reading that one. I was like laughing to myself. I was like, really?
Maybe years ago, but now these days, no, I'm not going to walk to the grocery store.
No, I'm okay.
Somebody will mug me for my groceries on the way back where I live. I'm just saying. It says use the stairs at home or work rather than the elevator. I don't have an elevator at home or at work, and I have to use the stairs. So there you go. But it says park your car in the farthest spot in the lot and walk the rest of the way.
I've actually been doing that a lot lately. And that's something that it's funny because with my parents, my dad has always been like a supporter of that, of just parking at the end of the parking lot and walking in.
Scotty does too, but that's so nobody will hit his van.
But my mom, oh my gosh, she will drive around the parking lot for 10 times till she can get a closer spot. It's like, just park.
When
just
I made
park.
that post that time about the lady riding around in circles at the gym waiting on the closest spot? It's like, really?
Right.
Yeah, I just thought that's kind of funny. So yeah, I mean, that's a great way to get a little more exercise. And it says pair up with an exercise partner and encourage each other as you work out. Me and you.
We try.
We do try.
Yeah.
We try. We get an A for effort.
Yes.
Today, Scotty and I went to the gym and we had Denise and the redneck joined us too. So, it does help to have other people who are kind of in it with you, without a doubt. So find someone else that needs to de-stress and de-stress together. It says play ping pong or an activity-based video game with your kids.
Like Wii and Connect,
Oh, okay.
like activity based.
Oh, okay.
Which I mean that's always a good thing.
That is fun.
I
I
mean-
miss playing. We used to do bowling. Play bowling on the Wii all the time
We
with the
did
kids.
too. Like when we
Actually fun.
first got our Wii, we did bowling all the time. Like we would have it was pretty much like bowling parties, you know,
Yeah.
like everybody would come over and we would play bowling.
Let's do that sometime soon.
We
Because,
need
we got a
to.
Wii here and you got a Wii at your house. And
Yes.
that's cool. So,
I actually have two.
oh, yeah.
I have two Wii's, two Xboxes. I'm like, what in the
Because
world?
you have two girls.
I know.
And you have not taught them to share, obviously, Ashley. Shame on you. I'm just kidding. All right.
But ping pong, oh my gosh, I haven't played ping pong in a long time.
I don't know if I've ever been coordinated to play coordinated enough.
I used to love playing ping pong.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Maybe I just didn't try. I used to like foosball. I mean,
See, I was never a foosball person.
really? We had a foosball table for a while, and air hockey. We had one of those. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Well, see, I'll tell you this. Growing up, I spent a lot of times with my grandparents, and I vacationed with them a lot and at camping grounds. So therefore, ping pong and that kind of stuff was, what was around all the time.
Yeah, see, like I've tried to play tennis before. It's just not my thing.
Oh,
I'm not
I used
fast
to love
enough on
play
my
tennis
feet.
too.
Really?
Mhm.
Maybe I just didn't try hard enough.
Tennis is a good workout.
Oh, yeah.
Like it really is. And I used to own like 10 tennis rackets. I'm not really sure why. Like that way everybody could have fun,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, where I lived before, there was a tennis court, and I remember we invested in some tennis rackets and balls, and we went. I don't think I tried really hard, but it was fun. The kids were a lot better at it than I was, so I stood back and watched, a mommy vised.
right.
But it says that once you're in the habit of being physically active and you try to incorporate regular exercise into your daily schedule and activities that continuous and rhythmic and require moving both your arms and your legs are especially effective at relieving stress. Walking, running, swimming, dancing, cycling, and aerobic classes are all good choices. It just says to pick an activity that you enjoy so you're more likely to stick with it. Some ladies, you got those ladies out there that are good at pole dancing, chair dancing.
Whatever works.
Whatever
works. Okay.
Zumba. I didn't give Zumba enough of effort. I really want to try Zumba again.
Never did it and have no desire to do.
Really? I mean, I thought it was kind of
Yes.
fun though. I mean, I don't know. Okay, well, just find something that you enjoy that gets your entire body moving. And it says if you make a conscious effort to focus on your body and the physical and sometimes the emotional sensations you experience as you're moving, adding this mindfulness element to your exercise routine will help you break out of the cycle of negative thoughts that often accompany overwhelming stress. So focus on coordinating your breathing with your movements. For example, or notice how the air or sunlight feels on your skin. In other words, instead of just doing something, just going through the motion of things, actually think about what you're doing. Because a lot of times, sometimes whenever we're even trying to do something to de-stress, our mind is still working.
I definitely understand that.
So basically, I think what they're trying to say is just disconnect your mind. Think of like what the sunlight feels on your skin, or just get out of your head and paying attention to how your body feels is also the surest way to avoid picking up an injury, it says. Oh, okay.
But I understand that. That's what a lot of people do. Like you see them at the gym listening to music. That's what they're doing is they're focusing on I'm walking. I'm, doing that and trying to just clear everything
Just
out.
close everything else out. That's a great idea because sometimes like I found myself sitting there, or not sitting there, but I'll be on the treadmill or whatever. And the whole time I'm like, I'm kind of working because I'm promoting things on Facebook, whether it's for Just for Fun Radio or doing things for Ladies Talk and that kind of thing. So my mind is still working.
Right.
And not that I'm saying those particular things are stressful, but my mind is still working. So yeah, you got to do what you got to do to shut your mind off every now and then. So Scotty likes to watch TV. That's his thing. It says stress management strategy number 2, engage socially. And I think that this is probably one of my favorites because social engagement is very efficient for me. I'm not saying it works for everybody, but like talking with a good friend, just, making that phone call and talking to the person that you know will listen. And it's not that you're really looking for any feedback or anything like that. It just helps to talk about it sometimes. So, interacting and just kind of letting it out. But these days, your biggest thing is whenever you're talking to someone, you have to make sure it's somebody that's not going to put it out on blast, or, and I think that's a lot of people's problems. They hold everything in because they don't feel like that anybody's going to listen, that there's anybody that they can confide in that's going to really care about what they're saying and not use it to, I don't know, broadcast to the world. Heck. But it says there's nothing more calming to your nervous system than communicating with another human being who makes you feel safe and understood. This experience of safety as perceived by your nervous system results from nonverbal cues that you hear, see, and feel. The inner ear, face, heart, and stomach are all wired together in the brain. So socially interacting with another person face to face and making eye contact, listening in an attentive way, talking can quickly calm you down and put the brakes on defensive stress responses like the fight or flight. I think that's why, like, whenever you're dealing with police officers and people like that, first responders, they are trained to kind of talk to people and try to talk them down in some situations because if you can get people to talking, it will alter their emotions and kind of calm them down a little bit. So I can see where talking it out can help some people whenever it comes to stress. So thank you, Ashley, for always being one of my sounding boards.
Well, thank you.
There's only
for being mine too.
I would be like, I'll text you, hey, what are you doing?
But another thing on this is, one thing looking at the actual text of this,
Yeah,
is face to face, in person. We rely so much on technology, and this kind of goes back to last week, and that's why I'm just like the face to or actually hearing someone's voice talking on the phone.
I know. So many times we'll be like sending these long texts to each other, and then one of us will just say, "Oh, just call."
Right.
You know what? I don't know why I didn't just call you.
It makes it a whole lot quicker, and simpler, and we get to hear each other's voice. So
that's right. And yeah, social engagement. But sometimes if you can't, and the only way you do have to communicate is through, a text, an email, or something like that, then hey, do what you got to do. But either way, talk to somebody. Don't just keep it all in because that alone is going to do more than stress you out. It's going to cause you a lot of harm. And it says to avoid unnecessary stress. Ta-da! Ding, ding. Where's the bell? Learn how to say no.
That was the first text of the whole thing.
It says to know your limits and stick to them. Whether you're in your personal or professional life, taking on more than you can handle is a surefire recipe for stress. Distinguish between the shoulds and the must, and when possible, say no to taking on too much. We all do it.
Oh, yes, we do.
We all do it. It's not just you. We all do it. I don't know how many times I've taken on things and then catch myself going, oh my gosh, why did I do this? Now, how am I going to make this happen? And I always do make it happen. But yeah, taking on too much. And it says avoid people who stress you out. Well, I don't think there's a whole lot more you can say about that. If someone stresses you out, maybe we should avoid that person.
Try your best.
Yep. You limit the amount of time that you spend with that person, or you end the relationship. Take control of your environment. If the evening news makes you anxious, turn off the TV. And if the traffic makes you tense, take a longer but less traveled route. And if you're going to the market is an unpleasant, I like this one, unpleasant chore, do your grocery shopping online. Really?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, I did hear that Kroger is now, there are already some stores, not in our area, of course, but, like, you can grocery shop online. They literally bring your groceries out to the car for you, and it's like $5 more.
I would pay the $5. Like,
Mhm.
honestly, I mean, I
Yeah, there's a
would.
lot of people saying that, so it will be coming to our area very soon because it is successful in other areas, so, you
Wow.
can you'll be able to go on your app. They're gonna have, I don't know, few thousand or whatever amount of products that you can choose from, and you basically place your order kinda like you would through a pizza app, and you cruise on over to Kroger, and you pick your groceries up, so,
I'm okay with that. I
yeah.
really am.
Well, I'm okay with it, I suppose, but I'd rather have someone put them up for me, so
Well, as a person who struggles to go to grocery shopping, especially if I'm by myself,
yeah.
like, physically just struggling, that would definitely be something
There
that
you
I
go.
would take advantage of. Hold on. Scroll back up just a second.
Scroll back up. Scrolling, scrolling,
And
scrolling. What?
I don't know, I lost where you move stuff.
Oh, I'm
Oh my
sorry. I went
goodness.
too far. Okay. There you go.
Well, you can go ahead
Okay.
'cause I don't
Anyway,
know.
number 5, adapt to the stressor. What?
Did we
How,
do number
how do
4?
you do? No, I skipped one.
Oh, okay.
Alter the situation. Stress management strategy number 4, alter the situation. If you can't avoid a stressful situation, you try to alter it. Often this involves changing the way that you communicate and operate in your daily life. Express your feelings instead of bottling them up. I agree with that 100%. If something or someone is bothering you, be more assertive and communicate your concerns in an open and respectful way. If you've got an exam to study for and your chatty roommate just got home, say up front that you only have 5 minutes to talk. And if you don't voice your feelings, resentment will build up and stress will increase.
This is definitely something I have to work on.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, the voicing, you know, I would rather just say, "Okay," and find a way around it,
Mhm.
instead of actually altering it.
So I'm not the only one who does that then because um, just going back to the conversation that Scotty and I had the other night, without going into details, of course, but we had even said, how come you haven't already spoke of this? Like if something is bothering you, why do you just carry it and wait until something comes up and then it all comes out and it may come out all wrong? It's best to just go ahead and talk about something at the moment it's bothering you, and going ahead and working on it together or just getting it out rather than letting it bottle up and explode. Because some things can be like a Coca Cola. You put it in there, you keep it for a while and shake it up, and you got a big mess. So,
Unfortunately, I had that happen a lot with my previous relationship, and, it was when you get to that point, it was just so, I guess, much easier. When you do let it all out, it's worse for you, it's worse for the situation, even though it may be easier just to let it all out at one time in a not so good way.
right.
But like I said, that definitely does not mean that it's best.
No, because actually what happens a lot of times is it comes out all wrong, and chances of being able to fix it is, there's not a lot of chance at that point because things have gone too far. Also, be willing to compromise. When you ask someone to change their behavior, you have to be willing to do the same. And if you're both willing to bend at least a little, you'll have a good chance of finding a happy middle ground. So if you're in a stressful situation and you expect, and if it's someone else that's causing this stress, and you go to speak to them about it, we need to be prepared to kind of meet each other in the middle. Is basically what that's saying. So, manage your time better. This is something that I know I could work on. I put too much on my plate a lot of times, and next thing you know, I do it at work. I do it at home. I do it everywhere. So I could be better at managing my time, because poor time management can cause a lot of stress. But if you plan ahead and make sure you don't overextend yourself, you'll find it easier to stay calm and focused. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think you can explain that any better. I definitely could be better at time managing. I think that's been one of my New Year's resolutions for as long as I can remember. So, did you hear those little feet running?
Yes, I know. It's
That is too
like
funny.
it's like thunder above our heads, like constantly.
Stress management strategy number 5. Since we don't have anybody calling in, I hope that everyone listening is not asleep and you're all still awake, because we could sit here and bore you all day long about things that stress us out. Um, and really, since I can't really explain how I deal with things, I'm kind of trying to. I'm looking for ways to deal with stress myself, because I think I could use some of this information. So here we are. We're sharing what we're reading to you. Stress management strategy number 5: adapt to the stressor. How you think can have a profound effect on your stress levels. Each time you think a negative thought about yourself, your body reacts as if it were in the throes of a tension-filled situation. Regain your sense of control by changing your expectations and attitude to stressful situations. To me, to simplify that, I really think that's just a mind over matter, controlling your thoughts. Um, it says to reframe problems, try to view stressful situations from a more positive perspective. Rather than fuming about a traffic jam, look at it as an opportunity to pause and regroup, listen to your favorite radio station, or enjoy some alone time. Again, that's all positive thinking, and I agree.
And that's actually something that I've had to do a lot lately because of personal stressful situations. And you just that's the only way to get through it sometimes, is just to try your best to look at the positive just to get you through.
That's right. You just think about it differently. So look at the big picture. Take perspective of the stressful situation and ask yourself how important it will be in the long run. Will it matter in a month, a year? Is it really worth getting upset about? And if the answer is no, then focus your time and energy elsewhere. And that kind of goes back to like last week's topic with the kids that were being bullied and stuff. The things they were going through a month, a year, later on down the road, would all of that stuff would be irrelevant. So, yeah, that's actually a really great point. You got to take a look at the big picture, and if what you're stressing about right now, is it really going to matter tomorrow or a week from now? Because if not, then you probably need to focus on something else, because life is too short to just stay stressed out about, especially if your stress is being caused from someone else. Saying, adjust your standards.
Yeah, I definitely need to do that too. Just saying.
Perfectionism is a major source of avoidable stress. So stop setting yourself up for failure by demanding perfection. Set reasonable standards for yourself and others, and learn to be okay with good enough. That's the OCD stuff you were talking about earlier.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
so there you go. I don't know that if it says adjust your standards, it doesn't mean lower your standards.
Right,
It just says
right.
adjust them.
Well, as small as this is, I have to make myself be okay with my children loading the dishwasher, okay?
I understand.
That is
Me
a
too.
huge stressor in my kitchen.
But that what that leads to is you being the only one that's able to load the dishwasher, because you can't get over the fact they don't do it exactly like you want them to.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yes. And then
understand.
unfortunately, then you get to the point of where they expect it.
Yeah.
With my youngest room, it's gotten to the point of, well, don't you want to just clean it for me, Mom?
Yeah.
And it's just like, no.
That's because they've gotten old enough to do the whole reverse psychology thing on you. It's like, you know what? She's going to hate the way I do this. So if I fold the towels like this, she's going to stop making me fold these towels.
Oh,
She'll
yes.
just do it for me.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Well, I can't say I've I probably did that as a kid at some point or another too. Stress management strategy number 6. Accept the things you can't change. Many sources of stress are unavoidable. You can't prevent or change stressors, such as the death of a loved one, a serious illness, or a national recession. In such cases, the best way to cope with stress is to accept the things as they are. Acceptance may be difficult, but in the long run, it's easier than railing against a situation that you cannot change. Don't try and control the uncontrollable. Many things in life are beyond our control, particularly the behavior of other people. Rather than stressing out over them, focus on the things you can control, such as the way you choose to react to the problems. I agree 100%. We cannot control everyone around us, the things that happen around us. I work in the public. There's some things that I see on a daily basis that people that are living on government funds and coming in and spending their money frivolously, whenever they're in a situation to where they're not supposed, apparently they're not supposed to be able to afford to feed themselves. So, but yet they come in and they spend $80 a whack on sub sandwiches. I mean, that kind of stuff drives me crazy. I'm not going to say it stresses me out, but anyway, it's out of my control. So why should I even give it a second thought? I just should do my job and go about my business. And that's just I don't even know why I use that as an example, but that's one of those things that I cannot control.
Well, and a thing for me is the health of my 2 girls.
Oh, yeah.
And that, I know that some of our listeners know me personally, but both of my girls have had their share of health problems. And that is something, it is a very big stressor sometimes, but it's also one that I can't control. If I could control it, I would have the healthiest kids on the planet.
Right.
I mean, that, that's the biggest thing.
Oh, I mean, that's one thing I've been pretty blessed with, but, I couldn't imagine that. Yeah, that right there would be really, really hard. But in that situation, look for the upside. So when you're facing major challenges, try to look at them as opportunities for personal growth. And if your own poor choices contributed to a stressful situation, reflect on them and learn from your mistakes. Learn to forgive. Accept the fact that we live in an imperfect world and that people make mistakes, and let go of anger and resentments. Free yourself from negative energy by forgiving and moving on. I'm very good at that. I have to say, out of everything I've spoke of, I feel like I do not hold grudges whatsoever. I mean, I'm just the kind of person that, I'm probably way too forgiving, but I just can move on from. I understand that sometimes things that people say or do that make me angry, I don't know. It's just easier for me just to move on. I've had people do things to deliberately try to cost me my job in the past. Wrote, a 3-page of bullshit, to be honest, just to try and cost me my job, just because that's the kind of person they are. They simply moved that person to another department in my store. A few months or so went by. That same person was struggling for hours because she really needed the money. And I know that. And I know a lot of her reasoning for doing that was, it was because I was married to her brother 20-something years ago. It was that kind of thing. And,
Right.
Anyway, long story short, I still, to this day, if I have hours and I see that she doesn't and she's struggling, I'll give her those hours. I'm not a vindictive person at all. If I get over things pretty quickly.
Oh, I'm the same way. And that's a big thing I think that me and you do have in common. A lot of things we're kind of opposites on, but
Yeah.
but yes, my huge heart is forgiveness is one thing that I have no problem with.
Now, my husband, on the other hand,
Well, I
I'm just gonna
mean,
go
there's
ahead.
some circumstances that
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. You burn a bridge with my husband, you will never get back across that thing, I don't believe. Although I
no.
say that, and yeah, I've seen him get past a few things, but most of the time he's not a very forgiving person. So,
I
stress.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say I like the title of this next
This
one
one,
that you are announcing.
stress management strategy number 7: make time for fun and relaxation. Hey, this comes up the whole beach thing, right?
Yes.
Yes. Beyond a take charge approach and a positive attitude, you can reduce stress in your life by nurturing yourself. If you regularly make time for fun and relaxation, you'll be in a better place to handle life stressors. Don't get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of life that you forget to take care of your own needs. Nurturing yourself is a necessity, not a luxury. I totally agree with that because whenever we're feeling our best, we're going to deal with everything else a lot better. So it says set aside relaxation time. Include rest and relaxation in your daily schedule. Don't allow other obligations to encroach. Crouch, I might be wrong. But anyway, this is your time to take a break from all responsibilities and recharge your batteries. Do something you enjoy every day. Make time for leisure activities that bring you joy, whether it be stargazing, playing the piano, or working on your bike. And then it says, keep your sense of humor. This includes the ability to laugh at yourself. The act of laughing helps your body fight stress in a number of ways. Yes, anytime that you can make light of something that you do that's totally ridiculous, I think you should do that. I think you should do that. There's a lot of times that I'm like, I can't believe I just did that. And I'll tell the whole world about it, and it might be something that nobody would even know if I didn't tell them all, but you know, sometimes I'm trying to think of a particular situation, but it's like my mind is blank right now. But I know that there's things that some people would have never known if I hadn't told them. Yeah, like I was at work and we have the little walkie-talkie radios, and I clip it on my pants or whatever.
Right.
And I was in the bathroom and I was like, go to the bathroom, and all of a sudden I heard something hit the toilet. Well, my first thought was, oh my gosh, my phone. Well, it wasn't my phone. It was the walkie-talkie radio. So I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So, in the work that I do, I actually had gloves that were inside of the apron that I was wearing. So I put the gloves on and I got the radio out of the toilet. So I go back in there. I'm telling my coworkers, I'm like, whenever you go to sign out a radio, a walkie-talkie, every time you get think about it, number 9 or whatever number it was, because it just took a swim in the toilet. And it's probably something I didn't have to tell everybody. And they're like, well, how'd you get it out? And I'm like, how do you think I got it out?
Right.
Stuck my hand down there and got it out. But anyway, I put gloves on. So yeah, make sure you laugh at yourself and take time for yourself and relax and do something relaxing every day, even if it's just a nice shower, a nice bath.
Well, going back to laughing brings me back to thoughts of my dad, because that is a big thing with my dad, is like when he talks to you and he's just like, what did you laugh at today? Like, that's his question.
Oh,
I mean, that's
really?
his serious question. It's like, because he knows that you need laughter in your life. And he'll do it with the girls too. I mean, just ask him.
That's pretty cool.
And, sometimes they're like, I don't know. Like, he's like, you've had to laugh at something,
Yeah. Hey, that's a pretty good thought. I mean, really, because I'm sure there's some days go by that, because we're so caught up in our thoughts and our worries and our concerns that we probably don't laugh, You just kind of.
And so I've kind of worked that into mine, where sometimes I'll just ask myself, when I'm sitting there at night, it's like, what did you laugh at today?
Right. Yep. Well, so there you go. I think that's a really good point. And so I think it's important that we take the time to, hey, go to YouTube and watch something funny,
Oh, yes.
if you last resort, because there's always something on there that'll make you go, oh my gosh. The funniest one to me is, I think it's a rhino, and they're watching it and they're videoing it, and the rhino's like farting or passing gas or whatever, and his tail just kind of goes up.
Right.
And there's a kid there with them, and the kid is, talking about it. Anyway, and thank God I have Zaylee in my life, or we have Zaylee in our life because she is always good for a laugh. So, if you're like desperate for a laugh, find a kid in your life or go to YouTube or
Right.
listen to Just for Fun Radio.
And honestly, I really think now, looking back, as everybody, hates Mondays and Mondays are so bad. But I honestly am in a good mood on Mondays. And I think that it's because I spend all weekend with Zaylee. Like, because I'm up and, moving more, I'm laughing,
So if you think about it,
playing
she
with her.
motivates us. She helps us get our exercise. She helps us get our smile on. And she really doesn't give you a whole lot of time to worry and stress about anything
No.
because, yeah, you're taking care of Zaylee. So all the listeners, if y'all like to sign up and get in line, we can work it out and arrange for you to have Zaylee time. Because I think it's good for stress.
Oh, yes, it
We've just
is.
determined that.
Yeah.
I think I need to take weekends off and stay home with Zaylee because maybe then.
No, because weekends are my time.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't do that.
Stress management strategy number 8, adopt a healthy lifestyle. In addition to regular exercise, there are other healthy life choices that can increase your resistance to stress. Of course, you need to eat a healthy diet because well-nourished bodies are better prepared to cope with stress. So be mindful of what you eat and start your day right with breakfast and keep your energy up and your mind clear with balanced, nutritious meals throughout the day. Reduce caffeine and sugar. The temporary highs that caffeine and sugars provide often end with a crash in mood and energy. So by reducing the amount of coffee, soft drinks, chocolate, and sugar snacks in your diet, you'll feel more relaxed and you'll sleep better. Avoid alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs. Self-medicating with alcohol or drugs may provide an easy escape from stress, but the relief is only temporary. Don't avoid or mask the issue at hand. You deal with the problems head on and end with a clear mind. Get enough sleep. Adequate sleep fuels your mind as well as your body. So feeling tired will increase your stress because it may cause you to think irrationally. I agree. And all of that is probably some of the hardest things that we do every day. I mean, the hardest choices that we make every day because we just do these things without really thinking about it. I'm going to have my coffee in the morning and it's full of sugar. Eating healthy.
Eating healthy it's hard because we're growing up in a time, not growing up, but we're living in a time that it is so much more expensive to eat healthy.
Yep.
And that's a sacrifice that you have to figure out and work out, because it's worth it in the end.
But you're right about that. But you know what? If you go to Kroger, their Simple Truth products that they sell now are very
Yes.
comparable to all the other stuff, and they are healthy. So healthy foods, that's coming around as far as price. It's really starting to line up a little better than it used to be. It used to be really, really bad. And I don't think it's just that. I also think that it's portions. I think a lot of times what I'm guilty of is I'll go all day and I may not eat hardly anything. And then whenever I do eat, I gorge because I'm so hungry. So I'll eat a lot at one time. But they say, the best thing for us to do is eat small amounts all throughout the day, and that will keep you healthier. So I just think that's
not eating junk food several times a day. That's not.
I suggest, I love the granola bars, and working in a grocery store, of course, is easy for me. I'll have a banana. I'll have a pack of, the nuts and drink of water. I don't do too bad with my food. I could, and I really, despite what some people may think, it's like I really don't consume a whole lot of alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes and I don't do drugs. So that right there is really not that much of a problem with me. I know this is going to sound so cliche when I say this, but I'm more of a social drinker. Whenever we're doing things and trying to have a good time, that right there is probably when I like to drink. And again, I don't do as much of that as people really think I do. So, and
sleep is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Because as a mom, especially as a single parent, and And you're kind of in the same boat now, with having Zaylee. You kind of have to cut down on your sleep a little because that's the only time that you actually have. I know even as old as my girls are, when they go to sleep, that's the only me time.
Right.
That's the time for me to rewind.
And so instead of going to sleep, that's whenever we do, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you. I mean, most time I'll sit there on the couch and scroll and catch up on my social media. I might read my emails and stuff like that, but next thing you know, you look up and it's midnight.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And probably should have been asleep a few hours ago.
And then you get up the next morning and do it all over again.
Amen. And I know that we haven't touched, I mean, we've spent a lot of time on the stress, but stress plays hand in hand on trying to balance your life and be a mom and have a life. So I don't want to just go away without speaking on that topic at all, but we only have about 10 minutes left and we need to take a commercial break because we have chatted right through everything. But I hope that everybody is listening and trying to enjoy the show. And if there's anything that we haven't spoke of that you could add to it that you may do to reduce stress, I can think of one thing that's always been said reduces stress that has not been mentioned, and I'm not going to say it right now, but we're going to take a break. And if anybody can guess what I'm thinking, feel free to call in and and tell me what it is you think I'm thinking. But anyway, until then, everybody hang tight. You're listening to Ladies Talk on Just for Fun Radio. We will be right back. It's funny. I can't believe we just sat here and just talked right through all that. Whoops. That girl is fun. We really do need a vacation. And this is basically saying that this is a stress management self-help checklist.
Reading that, but
I know, and I don't know.
it won't go away. Like it keeps on popping back up.
Listen. Like cabin fever. Oh yeah. He's working on. He was just going to try to do like a Just for Fun radio event.
was last week's and we brought it in today. I've been putting motivational pictures on there, okay? I actually started going through finding them and actually have a
Again, Everybody knows what that sound means. That means we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. After that, another great shout out to all of our sponsors. I hope somebody made it out to bingo last night at Social House. I really did want to make it out. I worked a little later than I wanted to, and I didn't make it. And I know, Ashley, I know.
Yes, this is 2 weeks in a row I've tried to get you to go to bingo.
I know. Well, I don't know. I don't think they did it last week. I don't know about that, but I know that we missed it this past week. And Chris, John, and Scott were there, and they're some of my favorite performers to see at the Social House. But I also know that the Social House always has some great stuff going on. So I promise you, I'll make it up to you. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
But we were just speaking of Revolution Threads. Ashley has not made it by there yet, and I have some really cute. I just realized that they're accepting kids closed. Kids clothes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are. Gently used, of course, kids closed. You can take them out there and put them on consignment. So I've got some of like the little holiday outfits of Zaylee's, the little Thanksgiving and Christmas ones. I'm for sure going to take out there and put on consignment. So we need to make it a point. Maybe, I don't know, my next day off or whatever, we can ride by that way and let you check out Revolution, because you'll really, really like it. Like I said, Jennifer did a really good job with that, without a doubt. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I think it was last week, Scotty and I went by Turn and Burn. And
yes, I haven't made it there either.
I actually got to see the way they do things. Let me tell you something. I know they sell used vehicles, but I don't know that there's another used car lot around that does it like they do it, because they take out all of the seats, literally unbolt them and take them out, and they pressure wash all of the carpet and they literally clean this stuff. I mean, it was neat because it was just like a shell of a car.
Wow.
And the guy had the rugs and everything out there, and he was literally pressure washing them, and then they lay them out and let them dry really good, of course, and they put them back. And that's why those cars, because I was wondering, like, they put literally video and pictures of all, a lot of pictures of their cars online.
Right, I've seen that.
So, I mean, like, you can go to their Facebook page and just go to Facebook, search Turn and Burn, and you can see tons of awesome cars, and they all look so, so clean. Well, that's why, because I'm telling you, they've got a guy back there. That's what he does all day long. Is that right there. And I'm like, wow. And he even said that they would do that to my car for me if I want them to bring it up there. So yeah, you should go by there one day. We'll ride by and you can check out the process. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, anyway, I can't believe that we haven't got out to Revolution Threads. So we'll make it a point to do that soon. With that being said, obviously, we are running out of time, and we are not going to be able to talk about a very important topic, because I have a feeling that it's probably going to take up as much of our time, or we'll have just as much to say about that as we have about stress, because obviously there's a lot that goes into stress and how we manage it. And I was glad that we could talk a lot about that tonight, but we will be going back to trying to have a life and be a mom at the same time next week. And hopefully you ladies that are listening will call in and chime in and communicate with us, because that's what we do it for, kind of to inspire each other. I know that I kind of felt like I was just reading from a web page, because I was looking for the same answers as you were. And I plan on incorporating some of those in my daily life now. I'm going to work on my procrastination and see if that'll help alleviate some of my stress.
And maybe we can do a recap next week and see,
That's a great idea.
How those things work to lessen our stress, or at least, get us through our stress.
Yep. Because, I mean, I really do believe in, just trying to think differently. And I've always thought that. And I guess sometimes it helps to read it and see it and basically be told. So thinking differently, maybe try to eat a little bit healthier.
Laugh.
That right there was probably one of my favorite ones, because, just the moment, just that minute or a few seconds that we laughed, it felt good. So yeah, I think that's really, really a Really, really a great point. So, everybody who's listening, just remember that stress, it only becomes bad for us whenever we allow it to become bad for us. We can use it to motivate us as well. There is a such thing as good stress. Um, just the word stress has always been seen as so bad. I mean, just as bad, but really stress can be a motivation to be good as well. And I know this may sound impossible, but our brain is so incredibly powerful and that simply believing something is bad for us can make it bad for us. So use stress to your advantage and stop allowing it to weigh you down. And next week, whenever we come back, like Ashley said, we'll touch base on it. Until then, everybody feel free to join DJ Scotty and the Fun Crew this Saturday. They will be heading out from Tubby Tom's for the Chase Cane ride. Um, that has been a ride now. It's an annual ride for several years now. I don't know exactly how many years, but it's a great ride to be a part of. It's in memory of Chase Cane and also now in honor of his father who passed last year, Eddie Kane. So that will be a very humbling, emotional event to be a part of. So if you all can head out there Saturday morning to Tubby Tom's and join Scotty and the Fun Crew for that, you'll be glad that you did so. And until then, be sure to check out the morning show Monday through Friday. They'll be here 7:30 in the morning until 10. And then tomorrow night we have Tech Talk with Alex. And then Wednesday night we have Military Mike, The World According to Mike. So on Just for Fun Radio, we try and make sure there's something for everybody. Our motto is to have fun. And whenever you do something, make sure you do it just for fun. And everybody, thanks for all your support of Just for Fun Radio, all of our sponsors. Thank you to everyone who took a minute to tune in to Ladies Talk tonight and spread the word. And we hope to hear you all, see you all, entertain you all again next Monday at
Yes.
7 p.m. Me and Sunshine, we will be here doing what we can to empower each other and you as well. All right, with that right there being said, we are going to go ahead and check out. Everybody, thanks again for tuning in. Go tell somebody about Just for Fun Radio. This is DJ Smiles, and you're listening to Ladies Talk on Just for Fun Radio. We are out.
See ya.
See ya. Bye-bye. Stop. Normally. There it is.